Alright, so here we are back with episode 31, and we have moved into the second act of this game in Pillars of Eternity 1, and we have reached Defiance Bay and entered the city in a district called the Copper Lane. We have found out that the Temple of Boudica is in the center here in the first fires. Is that what it's called? First fires, I think? Yeah. But right now we're in Copper Lane and we're gonna explore that as the first thing.
As you wish.
I don't know if it makes any sense stealthing around within the city, so I'm not gonna. It's a commoner. I'm not gonna speak with the commoners because I have learned that they are just...
It used to be a lot less of a mess.
There's a mess? Somebody's arguing over there, yes? Okay, let's see. Here's just this here. That's the guards, I understand. Joining the Crucible Knights is a high honor. Okay, what's going on in here? No. Protester, Rowan? Oh, Rowan, didn't I? I believe I heard the name Rowan before outside. I'm not sure. The others just called protesters, but he actually has a name, so he's probably the one to speak to. It also looks like he's the one that's riling them up.
Hail and well met.
Rowan's arms are crossed and his mouth is set in a grim frown as he watches the gathered protesters. He looks ready for a fight. He sizes you up. New in town, eh? You picked an interesting time to visit Defiance Bay. All these refugees fleeing the frontier and finding the legacies no better here. It's the Animancers, Macron scorch 'em, and they nest in this city like rats. You mark my words though, us dozens are gonna put a stop to it. Okay, just need to size this up. So, the protesters are the refugees that are not satisfied because they have the same problems here as they had outside. And Rowan here blames the Animancers, as I see it. And then he says us dozens. So this is a group of people, I guess. Okay, we can also ask about it, I can see. And Macron is probably some god. What are you doing out here? Gestures at the crowd, which buzzes with angry chatter. Trying to get folk to see reason. We're in the midst of a crisis, and instead of purging the nefarious forces from our city, the Duck is granting Animancers dangerous liberties. Hey. What do you know about Animancy? It's the study and manipulation of essence, which any sane person will tell you it's the purview of the gods. The Erdians, at least, had the sense to outlaw it, which is the only good thing you can say about them. It's not like magic, chanting, or the soul readings those ciphers do. It's been around since ancient Inguithians times, which is why you'll see Animancers tinkering with old Inguithan artifacts. Kana raises a fist to cough discreetly into it. True soul, but he's an enthusiastic performer, I'll give him that. Rowan shakes his head. Trouble is, the Animancers got no idea what half those artifacts actually do. Not that they'll admit it. Aloth says, Our empathetic friend is correct about one thing at least. Emphatic friend. It's okay. Tell me about the dozens. Rowan taps his chest. We're an organization of interested citizens who want to free Defiance Bay from the dangerous influence of Animancers and the tyranny of the aristocrats who support them. We also consider ourselves a militia of sorts, seeing as the Crucible Knights are little more than a flock of preening nobles in training these days. Okay, so kind of a rebellious group. Ader says, Just like a militia that doesn't, except for the training and the discipline and the code of honor. Rowan's eyes gleam. And we're always looking to expand. The more people to see things our way, the better for the state of the country. You have any interest in hearing more? Stop by Admeth's Den sometime. The Expedition Hall. Lot of free thinkers in there. Can set straight all the nonsense the nobles and the animancers want you to believe. Might even be some paid work here, there for motivated types. I believe that was up to the right in the city, that hall, Expedition Hall. I'd like to know more about Defiance Bay. This is the capital of the Free Palatinate of the Deerwood. We started out as the capital of the Erdian colony, but we booted the Flaccid Scepter from these lands 150 years ago. These days were a major port receiving trade and visitors from all over the world. But we, some of us anyway, strive to hold on to the pioneering spirit that earned us our freedom a century and a half ago. The city is divided into 5 districts: Copper Lane, First Fires, Under's Gift, Brackenbury, and Heritage Hill. It ticks each off on a calloused finger. Okay, so we're in for quite a lower dump here. Tell me about Copper Lane. This is Copper Lane. He taps a scuffed boot on the cobblestones. It's primarily a market district, but you've also got the Expedition Hall directly north of here, where you can join treks into the wilds. That's also where my fellow dozens, martyrs, and I tend to meet up with other concerned citizens. He points to a long domed building west and north of your position. And that's the Hall of Revealed Mysteries. Eerie place, you ask me, but they've got the biggest library in the Deerwood. Okay. Connor laughs. Eerie indeed. It might be less so if more kith stepped inside. Perhaps we ought to visit Malagant and see just what mysteries are revealed. Tell me about Brackenbury. Rowan, a noise of disgust rattles in his throat. The nobility that didn't sail back to Adir stayed there. Most of the families there trace their lineage back to the old imperial times. Other than a lot of has-been nobility, you've got a Hatred House where Lady Webb and her spies operate, and Brackenbury's Sanitarium, the main cesspit of animancy in the city. He spits on the cobblestones. Okay. Then tell me about First Fires. That's where the revolution started, hence the name. These days it's overrun with politicians and panderers, but we'll take it back someday. That's where you'll find the Ducal Palace, the Valian Embassy, and Crucible Keep. He shakes his head. The Crucible Knights were the original freedom fighters in Defiance Bay, but now they're just strutting peacocks with their eyes on fancy titles and their heads up their asses. There's an old Temple of Boudica there too. We keep it real nice for her. He winks. Alright, tell me about Andra's Gift. Got the name because it was a wetland that was drained back in the Imperial days. Now it's a seedy district populated by sailors, common folk, and more than a few thugs. But it's a fun place too, if you know where to look. He winks and elbows you. Look for a place called the Salty Masts when you're there. Other than that, it's mostly warehouses and abandoned homes. Tell me about Heritage Hill. He shivers. It used to be one of the more prestigious districts in the city. Heroes of the Revolution claimed plots up there next to an ancient Inguithian tower and the city cemetery. Had the best views in Defiance Bay. Attracts richer types these days. A lot of animancy patrons. He spits. He glances at the crowd and lowers his voice. You wouldn't have heard, but something happened over there a couple of months ago. The authorities sealed it off and they're keeping their mouths shut. But mark my words, animancy's to blame. So the entire district is closed off? Is that what he meant? Okay, never mind. Let's talk about something else. Oh, he doesn't have anything else, so farewell. Okay, that gave us a lot of new info here. And it seems that we're still only in the outer perimeter of this town. These are all commoners. Refugee, that's probably also just a general term. Yeah, I didn't want to come here, but my village wasn't safe anymore. Seems to be the problem for a lot of people. How do we enter these houses? Can we do that? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. So we just need to cross the bridge, really. Another justiciar. We defended Defiance Bay back in Duke Hadred's day. Okay. So is this what was it called? The goose or something? The inn? The goose and the fox. Yeah. Okay. And we're two commoners outside. I think I want to explore this bar or whatever it is first. See what news we can gather from in there. Oh, there's a lot of people here. Or seems like it. So we have Iristi Tungsten. You know what? In English, I don't know how you would pronounce this tungsten, but it's actually a Danish word. Tungsten. It's tungsten. That's the Danish word. So probably some Dane made up this name. You see a fire burning slowly on the side of a winding road, unmanned. There seems to be no fuel, no wood or oil for it to consume, no hay or twigs. Despite this, it roars, crackles, wails in the wind. It takes you a moment, but you begin to notice a figure in the flames. Its shaking hands cradle a young face, molten red tears marring skin the color of coal, not cold. The boy cowers, flame coating him as he holds his knees to his chest. In the distance, a man approaches, faceless. He extends a hand to the frightened child, who considers it warily before taking it. The flames die down, leaving his limbs and settling on his head like obedient pets. All tears dried, they walk together, fire and death, hand in hand. Right. And we have Mercurus Solomantine. You see a wizard playing illusions in a town square, fingers plucking color and sound from the air and weaving scenes of beauty and fright. A crowd of onlookers gasps and cheers, enthralled with the display, all but one boy standing off to the side, mouth agape. Green eyes are pale with wonder, vision after vision playing out before him, and something inside the boy clicks. Without warning, he bolts, disappearing into the crowd, pushing and shoving desperately. The image finishes. The mage finishes his show soon after, a giant silver dragon descending through the crowd and 1,000 stars exploding into nothingness. Collecting coins, he walks around the clapping crowd, bowing and nodding at each as he passes until a small sack is dropped into his hands. The boy stands for a moment before him, small and still, and begs the wizard to apprentice him. He glances at the hefty bag, weighing it and the boy carefully. Finally, he nods and flicks gently at the bag, which disappears. The boy grins. "How'd you do that?" he asks, but the illusionist merely winks. Alright, and finally the vulture. You see a hand curled and bruised, sink to the floor with a bent metal spike. Blood covers the floor and drips from the furnishings and walls. This man looks up from the body he is crouched over to survey the carnage he caused to the family in whose house he now skulks. 4 bodies total, a woman, 2 young men, and a girl, lie blindfolded on the ground. Their legs are bound and both hands are attached to the floor with spikes. He has lifted the woman's blindfold and is currently doing something to her eyes. He pulls back a small blade and covers the eyes again. gently patting the blindfold. He stands and looks around, seemingly satisfied with his handiwork. Suddenly, his breath quickens, hearing someone approach the door to the room. He bounces in place, excitement almost overwhelming him, and then rushes to the back of the room, concealing himself in the shadows. From this vantage, he sees the bodies are perfectly arranged, each one facing the door, welcoming the man of the house back, arms outstretched as if in embrace. The door opens, and he slowly pulls another spike from his belt, the tip of his tongue playing across his teeth in anticipation. Okay, what's kind of sick guy is that? Alright, there seems to be people in good mood in here. A patron and an actress, probably nothing there, you'll find all sorts. Everyone's a philosopher here. Right, I'm not going to speak with those. Oh, here's another one. What's this? This Stelgare's pelt is thick with dust and moss. The plaque below the best beast reads Maiden Falls 2682. And here we have Roy Ningwen. You see a half-consumed ale slush its way across the distance to his mouth, spilling across the stains of food long past. Glazed-eyed glance at the brawl across the room, gaining fervor as the fight extends through the room. Another ale, he murmurs to the bartender, downing his drink and turning towards the wall. He pulls a picture from his pocket, a painting of a young child, all brown hair and green eyes, and holds it above a candle. It does not burn. Interesting. Ales later, he begins to sing. The bar a mess of broken chairs and wounded pride, and they're all listening for a moment before continuing their drinks' swift conversations. His ache is felt through the room. His sad story reminds them of their sad stories. When he finishes singing, a silence hangs in the air, palpable among the smoke and the sweat and the yeasty smell of beer-infused exhalation. He's the first to break the silence, ordering a round of ale for the room. The general din of conversation sparks and resumes, but the mirth now is tempered with far-off memories and thoughts. Well, I struggle to find any meaning in these stories in regard of the game's plot or story here. I'm aware that these are probably little stories created by the backers of this game, but well, I would like to think that they still have some relevance in terms of the story, but it doesn't seem like it. I'll keep the bishop, as they call him, the bartender, for last. So let's go to Lupitus Silvarum. You see an impressive gathering of wild Orlans in the ceremonial dress, shaded by copse of ancient oaks. Underneath the largest oak stand two young Orlans, hands clasped, eyes clear, as they promise to care for and love one another in the joining of their clans. An older Orlan steps towards them to speak, beard seeming to sprout from directly underneath his eyes, and declares the union complete. The jubilant Orlan clans carry the newly wedded couple away to their tent with the snorts of laughter and crude jokes, leaving the older Orlan to sit alone beneath the age-old oak. He sighs, observing the scene in the distance. He whispers a quiet benediction, glad for the gladness, and melts into the trees without another word. He has seen enough happiness for one day. Okay. Oh, there's so many of them. Oh, these are commoners. A commoner, a bodyguard, and a noble. Is there a story to this? Nothing loosens tongues like a good pint. Are you here for some words of wisdom too? You hear this guy? I'm mad, I tell you. Okay. Okay, here's a mercenary. It's a good place to unwind between jobs. Sometimes I even find new ones. Yeah, I would expect you could do that. So this one has an actual name. Cainra. A woman sits by herself, spinning something on the table in front of her and watching it with furious intensity. It's about the size of a coin and it wobbles over a crack in the wood with a metallic rattle. She snatches it up with one hand and slams a half-empty cup down on the table with the other. This is not a good time. Okay, this is not a good time. Then I just start talking. What are you doing here? She takes a long drink from her glass. Just trying to calm down and trying to talk myself out of something foolish. Something foolish? She says nothing for a few moments, as if hoping you'll leave. At last, Cainra looks up at you and lamplight falls across her face. A purpling bruise is blossoming along her cheekbone. There's something I need to give to my fiancé, Purnisc. Only he doesn't seem to go anywhere without his new friends, and they're not exactly pleasant company. Tell me about these new friends. They come into our house with their dead eyes and their black teeth. I'm not a fool, I know what it means. Purnisc makes me leave when they show up, but it's obvious what they come to do. Last time they came, I told them to get out. Let them have their fun somewhere in the gift, but not under my roof. She scowls and then winches, her fingertips gently probing her bruise. Swift changes you, I guess. The Purnisc I knew wouldn't have squashed a spider. I never thought he'd... She trails off, still feeling the swollen, discolored flesh. Okay, so he hit her because she did not apply, or what's it called? She did not do what they told her to. Okay, so I can do different things here. Survival and intellect. What is SWEF? I can ask that, but it seems I already know it. It seems like some kind of drug. Let's do the survival 2 thing here, but SWEF makes people calm and listless. It shouldn't make them violent. Cainra shrugs. I don't really know. Seemed better than believing he's always been this way. Maybe I could go talk to him. Her hand rests on the table and she clenches it into a white-knuckled fist. There's nothing more to say to him. We're finished. I just want to give this back to him and have a clean break. She opens her hand and a ring clatters onto the table. It was his grandmother's. Even after this, I don't have the heart to sell it off. But if I go back there myself, I know what'll happen. I lose my temper and I'll probably wind up with another one of these. She points to her bruise. But I've heard you're trustworthy. If you give this back to him, he'll know we're done. How does she know I'm trustworthy? Okay, I'll take this ring to Purnisc then. She looks at you and nods. The house is just north of here. Just please don't hurt him. As furious as I am, I don't want that on my conscience. Okay, so we have to give this ring to Purnisc. Excellent. Now there are separate rooms we can go into and some chairs we can extend, but I think we're going to speak with the bishop.
Gods keep you.
The man behind the bar is nearly the size of an Omawa. A handle protrudes from his back and his face is set in a stoic frown. He gives you a small nod. Here for a drink? There's a tiny pewter cup in front of him. He turns it in one broad hand, but doesn't drink from it. Okay, tell me about yourself. Name's Bishop. Used to be a scholar of Berath. Now I run the Goose and Fox and keep the regulars in line. He shifts and you see a warhammer strapped to his back. What more is there to tell? How'd you go from religion to taverns? The journey isn't as long as you'd think. It started with Hollowborn and with this. He takes a black bottle from under the bar and fills the pewter cup. It was my sister's son. He takes a drink. The beginning of Waitwin's legacy. He was one of the first. I never expected there would be so many after him. Tragedy is part of the cycle, but it's followed by rebirth. Yet every year more parents were grieving for their hollow-born children, and the gods were silent. Oh yeah, the hollow-born, so that's what Waitwin's legacy is about? I remember the hollow-born. So you lost your faith? He leans forward, crossing his arms on the bar. Barath promises rebirth, cycles, but the only cycle I found was this one. He taps the bar. Have a drink, have another, and another, until I couldn't remember how I got home. Wake up, come back. I finally woke up one day to see my family had packed up and left. For all I know, they'd left days before and I just hadn't noticed, but they were gone, so I came here. I've cleaned up since then, not that I've found my answers. He tossed the cup back. I've just stopped asking questions. Okay, this is a lively place. It was founded in the early days of Deerwoodian independence by a traveling scholar named Errol of Levi. He wanted a place where a kith of all backgrounds could gather and hash out the issues facing their new country. He rests his elbows on the polished wood of the bar. It didn't take long for the place to fill up. Brackenbury aristocrats argued with the dock workers from the gift while soldiers wrangled with politicians. Deerwoodans have never been known to turn down an argument. He takes a sip from the tiny cup. Well, what happened next? Soon kith were coming from the farms and settlements too. He waves at the door as if expecting a crowd to bustle in. This place got even more popular with the Valen sailors than the salty mast. And that was the problem. He drains his cup. No matter what people say about fair-mindedness and civil debate, there's only so much people will tolerate. Errol found himself on the wrong side of an argument with the wrong Thane, and when he disappeared a few days later, some said it was the work of that Thane. He shrugs, spreading his hands over the bar as he surveys the room. But Errol knew which way the wind was blowing. If you ask me, he skipped town, hid out somewhere hoping for rational minds to prevail in Defiance Bay. He cracks a wry grin. If only he could see it now. Okay, I don't need a room for now. I don't need adventurers, but I'll order some refreshments. Can I sell stuff? This is just a regular sword. I'd like to sell that. This hide can be used to... No, just sell it. And this one? I don't know what... Yeah, this has an effect. Okay. I'm not sure about this axe yet. I'm gonna keep it for now, I think. Let's see the stash. All non-colored items, I think, would just sell. 210 copper, that's fine. Okay, we're done trading for now. So, let's investigate the rest of this floor before we head upstairs. Start down here. Oh, this seems to be some... Yeah, this is locked and this is stealing. I'm not going to go into... Oh, there's a picture there. We'll look at that when we come out. Brad Furis. You see a mud-soaked clearing, rain falling to the ground in large drops. This man is lying on his back in the muck, his hands holding open the maw of an enormous stelgaer that stands over him, its front paws on his chest. The heavy rain falls over them, playing counterpoint to the grunts made by the opponents. That stelgaer, I don't know the word, that stelgaer litter the ground around them, and the man's body shows signs of a difficult battle. His clothing is torn, hanging in scraps in some places. Bites and scratches covers his arms and legs. A huge gash cuts across his forehead, blood and water mixing as they run down his face and drip into the mud. It takes all the man's effort to keep the beast's jaws from clamping down. The man looks around wildly until his gaze finally lands on a large axe lying barely within arm's reach behind his head, the rain slowly covering it with grim and muddy water. He looks at the Stalegear and then back at his axe, grim determination on his face. His arms are shaking and it seems he will not be able to hold the beast back for much longer. He takes a deep breath and wraps his right hand around the Stalegear bottom jaw, then lets go with his left hand, freeing the top of his head, its head. The Stalegear's mouth snaps shut on his right hand as his left shoots out about his head and grabs the handle of his axe. The Stalegear grinds its teeth and pulls back. Trying to free itself from his grip, blood dripping from its mouth onto his face. With a grunt that quickly becomes a bellow of pain, the man pulls his right hand down, bringing the beast's head closer to him, swinging the axe around as he does. The blade of the weapon pierces the Stalegear's neck, and it yelps, its mouth popping open as it tries to step backwards off of the man. Before his mangled hand can lose its grip, the man pulls and twists as hard as he can, trying to get the beast on the ground, using the Stalegear's resistance to pull himself into a sitting position. He brings the axe down on its neck again, and one final time as its head and his hand simultaneously come free. The head flies from his grip as he thrusts his hand behind his back to brace himself as he falls. As his hand hits the ground and his full weight lands on it, a second bellow of pain erupts from his mouth. Breathing heavily, he brings his now mangled hand up to assess the damage. The little finger is gone, lost somewhere in the mud. The two fingers next to it are twisted, broken, and torn, barely attached to his hand by small bits of flesh. He sighs, grabbing both dangling fingers with his left hand. He grits his teeth and pulls. Ouchie. That hurt. So, tough guy. Certainly. Merchant and an actor. Okay. Pictures here. The painting depicts Glenfarthon ruins, and the canvas bears the rough brushstrokes of a talented amateur, Ibris Well, 2665. Okay. A dwarf and an Orlan debate philosophy on the other side of the curtain. Okay, I just got it now. A little late. I got it. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I never checked this one. A dragon is outlined in charcoal pencil. The thick jagged lines and the faint smell of sulfur suggests that the artist completed this sketch in a hurry. Cliff Dragon White March, 2685. So the White March, that's the DLC of this game, the expansion. We didn't pick up any quests or stuff like that yet down here, as I would have expected. Perhaps it's upstairs. Or something's going on here for sure. Let's just start with Dreadshot Daedon. Daedon is busy filing a spur off of a small round bullet. Burly Omora raises a hand in greeting. Ilfa? Ilfa nods at you, a pint in one hand and a mace slung over her shoulder. Key? That's a funny name. The Orlan woman nods at you, a cup of wine in her hand and a scepter across her lap. Scattered among such titles as Flora of the Living Lands, Unity and Disunity, A History of the Deadfire, Archipelago, and Treatise on the Culcan's People are half a dozen travel journals held together with twine. Okay. Nothing here. Let's go further then. So this would be stealing? Or would it? I mean...
That's settled.
No, that's not stealing. Okay. Excellent. I'll unlock that. Okay, that's probably... This is red, so this will be stealing. Or... Probably. Ishanaglin. See a group of people standing on a clear patch of earth, surrounded by several motionless bodies. On the ground, in the middle of the group, is a small figure curled up to protect itself from the kicking feet of the people standing around it. This woman is there, apart from the group, holding an enormous sword. She leans on it, using it almost like a crutch, hunched over and breathing heavily. Sorry. She stares at the people and grunts, pulling herself upright and lifting the sword from the ground. She draws in a large breath, leans into a run, and quickly closes the distance between herself and the group. A blood-chilling howl suddenly explodes from her. The mob freezes mid-kick and stares at the terrifying bull of a woman now charging it. She jumps at the last second, bending slightly, turning herself into a projectile, flying into the middle of the people assaulting the figure on the ground. Everyone topples as she flies into them. She hits the ground behind them, rolling, leaping back up, and turns to face them. She plants both of her feet and lifts her sword, surveying the field. Suddenly she spins on her heel, swinging her sword with a savage grace, surveying the field. Suddenly she spins on her heel, swinging her sword with savage grace, cutting down the nearest of the assailants. Letting herself get pulled into the momentum of the spin, she brings her sword around, blade sideways into the head of her would-be opponent. The bottom of the hilt shatters his temple, and he crumbles to the ground at her feet. She looks up, rage-filled eyes daring the remaining two men to approach. After a quick sideways glance at each other, they turn heel and run. Surprising. One briefly looks back over his shoulders, ensuring she isn't following him. She slowly lets out the breath she had been holding and walks over to help the figure still huddled on the ground. Okay. Harrod Roll. You see a man standing on a dock. Sailors, soldiers, and prostitutes swarm around him, but he's watching the ship disappearing over the horizon. He should be glad his men didn't take his life along with his ship, but failure is almost as bad a death for a villain. Valiant. I think it should have been ass death. But failure is almost as bad as death for Valiant. And the gods know only he hadn't fared any better in his family's mercantile business. It's almost a relief to see that last herald of his failure sail into the distance, sparing him the need to go back to his father and admit defeat once again. Besides, with sharp wits and an eye for opportunity, there's always a chance for a comeback. He pulls a flask from his hip and takes a long drink. There will be time for that later. He adjusts the flap of his eye patch and finds the tower of the brothel. He plots a new course for the evening, a grin on his face. Okay. So, here's another 3 people, Dash Oki. You see a grin slide across the face of a man and onto the face of a woman, younger still than he. She moves closer in the tallow light, sure and slow, tasting the anticipation on his tongue, the desire on hers. The candle gutters sending yellow-brown light sneaking across his multi-faced eyes. She sits back now, well too aware of his luminescent horns and dust-stained blue skin. His otherness leaves her breechless, but from fascination or horror you cannot tell. He reaches across a hand, trailing the line of her jaw. sibilant whispers snaking through the air, tempting, cajoling. Something in her breaks, and his grin slides back as he extends his tongue to lick the curve of her throat, pausing a hair's breadth from her flesh. The thing we spoke of, your husband. I shouldn't. He'd be ruined. Faint protest. The man wags his forefinger at her, sticking playfully, tracing a line with the finger down the length of her torso, causing her to writhe. He stops it, just short. She gasps. No fair. That's cheating, she pouts, childlike. Not if we make the rules. The man winks. He resumes his stroke. Okay. Well, we have two more here. Or Akari. You see a firm hand scribbling notes from an ancient, surprisingly sturdy-looking tome. Script precise, pictures small but clear. The monk runs his fingers across the paper lightly, page after page, searching for something. The script is ancient, almost illegible, but he perseveres, scrawling stacks and sheaves of notes, transcribing the book into something more comprehensively. Suddenly he starts scribbling hastily, eyes wild, pen a blur, across the newly ink-splattered page. With a start, he pushes out from the desk and closes the tome, sending waves of dust to coast about the room, and grins widely. He hurries to the exit, notes piled under his arm, and a new adventure on his mind. Okay. Lexcanon MacCrash. You see a man praying soundlessly on the ground, lips moving to some ancient and unknowable hymn. Lying in his hands, his sword sputters into blinding white light, banishing the darkness around him instantly to lurk in corners and shelves. He opens his eyes, slowly continuing his silent prayer as he adjusts to the new light, his face tight with concentration. He stands and begins to move deliberately towards an enormous iron door, strange symbols inscribed upon its rusted surface. His prayer gets louder, gains substance as he gets closer. Blue eyes burn with fervor at the glowing tip of the sword, touches the center of the door, and slides through. White light spreads across its surface, symbols flaring into life as the paladin chants. A gentle tone sounds ringing through the ancient structure, and the door begins to open. The symbols have disappeared along with the rust, and the paladin steps through into places unknown, bearing a light he is only now beginning to understand. All right. So, nothing to do here. Was I in here? Don't remember. I was not, because there are nobody now. The most unfortunate tale of Flavia and Bernard. Valiant tragedy. Scene: Leia watches Bernard approach Flavia's tree, looking for her human form. Leia: Behold, now comes the fun, that for which I have waited. His love is forfeit, her life is forfeit, and all I have worked toward shall be fulfilled. He says he knows his love. He says no force in the world could keep him from her. But what chance has force against guile? Never will he find his love, for she is no longer his love. The spell cannot be undone except by her death, and by then it will be too late. But wait, he has seen her. Leia steps back to observe. Flavia: Pray, mortal, why have you come here? These words are not for your kind. The affairs of men have no place at this tree. Leave here, you welcome lapses. Okay. Bernard, foul creature, where is my love? What have you done with her? Always this has been the station for our encounters. Never before have I seen you. Where is my love? Answer, answer, ere my patience lapses. Favia. Fool, this is my land, and this is my tree. Your presence never before has been felt. Again, I say to you, leave. My generosity will not be extended a third time. Leia steps forward again. Leia. Talk? Discussion? I know the way to hurry the conclusion of this tale. Leia takes a breath and extends her throat as if she's yelling a scream from the copse of the trees where the Pwokra stands. Bernard. My love! Bernard steps forward, brandishing his sword. Bernard. Prepare yourself, wretch, for not even death can stand between me and my love. I will have her from you, or you will meet your end. Bernard moves towards Flavia, who closes to fight. They fight. During the fight, Bernard is grievously injured as he delivers the killing blow to Flavia. She falls to the ground, and as she dies, the spell on her breaks, transforming her back into her Delimgan form. Flavia. Bernard, my love, what have you done to me? What was it I said? What was it I did? Has our love soured in your heart? Bernard. Flavia, my love, my life, what foul sorcery has befallen you? How have you come to be laid low by my hand? Fie. Fie to the gods for such treachery. Fie to all who stands in our way. Flavia, fear not, my beloved, for now we are together, and together we'll always be. Nothing can keep us apart. But, lo, why is it suddenly so dark? Where has the sun gone? Where are you? I cannot see you. I will find you. I will. Flavia dies. Bernard, curse upon the fiend who has betrayed me, to hold love in your hand and have it wrenched away. Bernard winces and puts his hand in his shirt. It comes out covered in blood. Bernard. What luck! What chance! Tragedy may yet turn to fortune. Flavia, my love, soon I will rest in your arms. We will die together again as one, and forever shall we be side by side. I go now to meet my love. Berath, I accept your cold embrace. I welcome your company, and I beg your mercy. Bernard lies down next to Flavia's body. Bernard, I'm ready. Bernard dies. Leia steps out from her hiding spot and runs to Bernard's body. Leia. Bernard, you fool! You wretch! How can you leave me? I'm alone, I'm forgotten, I'm cast out. Without your love, how can I continue? Life holds no thrall without your visage upon which I may gaze. What shall I do? But here, my salvation, my answer. Leia picks up Bernard's sword. Leia. His blade, his weapon. I shall be impaled upon him, and he shall cut through me. I will not be defied, my love. I will not be defied, my love. You will be mine, if not in this life, then in the next. Leia impales herself on the sword. Leia, I come for you, my love, my Bernard. Wait for me, and I will find you. We shall love forever. Leia dies. Okay, some kind of play. Wild. The pages of these old books are crisp and fragrant with the salt of a sea breeze. But still really no clue as to what else we can do in here. Yeah, I did speak with those. Okay, so let's go back downstairs and let's go out into the city and deliver that ring. I think that's the next step here. There were no new quests in this inn, as I probably would have expected there to be. I mean, okay, that's a trope, so maybe that's why they didn't do it. But let's give it away. Or not give it away, let's give it back. Just need to see my journal. Yeah. Is it quests? His old self? Purnisc? Camera. Okay. It's right there. Just beyond the marketplace. Let's head there now. Finish this quest right away before I accidentally sell a quest item. Broken branch. You see a dark figure moving quickly around the room, grabbing items and placing them in a sack. The room is in complete disarray. The elf is lying on the floor in the middle of the room. Her breath comes in shallow, hitching gasps, and her face is wet with tears. Her head slowly tilts to the side, her attention drawn to the noise on the far side of the room. She watches the figure move about, removing all the valuables from a chest. She slowly lifts her hand from her stomach, bringing them in front of her face. Her head shakes weakly as she turns it back to look at the fingers, covered in her own blood. Her breath hitches again, and she lets out a quiet, mewling sound. The dark figure stops its search and turns to look at her, hisses something at her. The figure walks back to the elf and stands over her, tilting its head as if it had completely forgotten she was there until she made the sound. He kneels next to her, stares at her unfocused eyes, and reaches out a hand to her stomach. Without a word, and without breaking his gaze, he pushes two of his fingers into the gaping wound in her abdomen. Her mouth widens into a silent scream, a rictus of pain etched on her face. In a moment, her entire body goes limp as she succumbs to the pain and faints. The figure stands staring at her one final time and then spits on her before turning to leave. Okay. That's all there was here. So this might be the place. Then I just need to get in there, I guess. Yeah, we are on 53 minutes now, so let's just complete the quest, go back and cache it, and then that should be it for this episode. Oh, this is a huge house. Addicts. Okay. Wait, what's happening? Am I imagining this? Purnisc always has the best supply. Yeah, I saw that one. Feel free to make yourself comfortable down here. Top floors off limits. Why is that? This is your first time here? You'll be back, I'm telling you. I'll see it again. I will have to. Okay, I'm a bit in doubt here. A couple of crude beds have been improvised from an assortment of tattered blankets and pillows. Dribbles of some dark liquid stain the fabric. So this is a change of map. I'm gonna wait with that.
Welcome.
The man before you flashes you a toothy and rather unpleasant grin. Well now, a new face. Welcome, friend. Named Purnisc, and this, he gestures to the room around you, is my humble abode and place of business. And I do hope you're in here to do some business. He glances at you at the nearby ground. What is your business exactly? If you have to ask, Purnisc smirks. Let's be clear. You go running to the guards, you're going to regret stepping foot in this place. In fact, I put even odds on you regretting every decision you made in your life to leave you standing in front of the might now. Purnisc, his face shivers with a quick, unreadable emotion. But you stay smart, and I figure we can end up very good friends. You can ask my previous customers; they'll vouch for my supply. He grins. I keep it simple. If you have the coin, I have the swift. If you're free to make use of the premises, so long as you don't do anything stupid and you don't get tangling with the other customers. Now, Purnisc claps his hands together. What can I get you? What is swift? You're serious? Purnisc eyes you with suspicion and then disbelief. Swift's worth every pan, my friend. It's impossible. It's incredible. Let you see your own soul, and you're looking at Defiance Bay's first and foremost swift merchant. I'll give him Cainlin's ring. Purnisc takes the ring and turns it around in his fingers. Nice. What's it for? Oh, I just asked if he didn't recognize. I thought that would come here. Purnisc laughs. Oh yeah, I see now. She's making a statement, is she? Good riddance to her. Then, sorry. Sorry I ever spent the coins to begin with. Now, is that all? She seemed to care for you. Why are you doing this? Plenty of stars in the sky. Tell her to go sit up in the sultry mast if she's feeling lonely. Purnisc shrugs. Me and her are done. Seems a difficult thing to forget, giving your grandmother's ring to someone. Maybe she's just not worth remembering, eh? Purnisc snorts. While you're playing lapdog for her and all, why don't you go back and tell her to keep clear of here? I'm not going to do that. How dare you hit your own fiancée? How can you live with yourself? She was asking for it, Purnisc growls. Sort of like you right now. Maybe you ought to quit digging around in affairs that don't concern you. Me, I've got business to get back to. He points. Doors that way. Something's not right here, and I don't plan on leaving until I find out what's going on. Purnisc's eyes narrow. Then you won't be leaving at all, friend. I was tired of wearing this face anyhow. He raises his voice. Gods, to me. Okay, tired of wearing the face, so he's probably some creature. Near it? Okay. So, I think we will focus on him for starters. I don't like... Maybe I should send... Oh, oops. Everyone attack there, but I think I'm going to send 8... No, that's... I probably can't run past my own people. So let's knock him down. And...
Yes.
Give him a tough hit.
Ready, Watcher.
What can she do? I don't even know what she can do. Marked prey. Designates a single target as prey, giving the range and animal companion a damage bonus against that target. Okay. And this is an encounter power, right? Yes. Wounding shot. As he or she would with fleeing prey, the hunter aims for a spot that will slow the target's enemy's progress, hobbling the target and inflicting raw damage over time. To it. Yeah. You go ahead with that. Nirid, stop! Nirid staggers back, holding a bloody hand in front of him. I give up! Just leave and I'll go peaceful, alright? Too late, that's all I can say. Okay, but he's down, isn't he? Yeah, he's down. Okay, we need... I don't know what we need really, because we are... Sagani is all up close, shouldn't be. And equipped with a knife.
Hey.
Okay.
Ready, Watcher.
Well?
I don't like us taking these hits from behind. Oh, we're doing pretty well actually. She's not, though. Okay, we need to scare people. I would really like to clear out these people. Okay, you do a second wind.
Ready, Watcher.
Why can't she? She doesn't have the athletics for it. We're gonna change that at her next level. That's for sure. The
What?
endurance will have to heal her.
Mow it.
Okay, now she can
Ready, Watcher.
switch to a bow. Fight that one. And he's done here. Oh, Alof is down. Okay. Okay.
As you wish.
I'll just check the rest of the house before I front him. Someone has peeled the labels from these bottles. They're stuffed with a dark, gunky pulp that gives off a pungent odor. Oh, mercenary. The guard holds up a hand as you approach. You can turn right back round. The lower floor is all yours, but nobody goes upstairs. Why not? He scowls. Because you'll be breathing through new holes in your neck if you head up there. That's why. Just mind your own business. Once you're on the swift, you're not going to much care where you are anyway. Okay, so I can bribe him with 100 copper to get up there, but I don't want to do that. And I can't do the resolve. I'll just see. Okay, fine. Won't do anything. That leaves us back in here. I want to try and arrange my people in a different order for obvious reasons. Like this. And then we do the dialogue. Don't redo it. Let's just give him the ring. Failed to do that the last time, I think. No, I didn't. I did it last time, yeah. Okay. So. Now we're positioned better. Though we still have this mercenary there.
Yes.
Malagant will do the power strike on Nirid.
Hey.
And Ader will do the knockdown.
Yes?
Kana can use the crossbow.
What?
Durance can use... Where is Durance? Is this him? He's gonna switch to melee then and front this mercenary.
Yes?
Aloth is also shooting at this mercenary. Now,
Ready, Watcher.
new ranger friend is also in a situation where we have to do that. Can't see what's going on really. Okay. We beat him, so it's only his allies back or left. We will still focus here. At least some of us. He cannot reach him, so he'll go down there. I think I will do the yell.
Hey.
Then we have Ader, and he cannot reach anyone either. He will head down here and knock down this one.
Following your lead.
Kana has ended up in close combat. I think I'm gonna start healing him.
What?
Durance continues striking this one.
Yes?
Aloth, use this. Arcane Assault.
Ready,
And
Watcher.
then we have our Ranger, who's also... Oh! Did he die? I think he died. So,
Ready, Watcher.
now we focus on that mercenary. Durance does too. Anna's still healing. Ader is here, hitting that mercenary.
Well?
Maligan does the same.
Yes?
Kana still healing.
What?
Durance is up here. He switches to the bow and helps from afar.
Yes?
Aloth has another of these arcane assaults. Okay.
I'm
And
here.
our little ranger friend. She can actually do ranged combat from here. Wounding shot. Okay, they are dying. That's fine. Only one remaining. Let's just take them down. Oh, there's still two. Okay, now there's one. Oh, they just got an ally in here. Another mercenary. Let's just focus here. He died. So, Durance is now fronting
Following your lead.
the enemy. Let's put some skeletons over here.
What is it?
You go ahead.
Hey.
You go ahead.
Oh, active!
Skeletons attack from behind.
Following your lead.
Gonna shift to the crossbow and attack.
Ready, Watcher.
You attack.
Yes?
Aloth. Use magic there. Durance needs to heal. Oh, he's prone. Is this the problem? 2 hit points remaining. Oh, I can't save him. Where is he? Oh, there he is. I'm afraid I can't save him. That's too bad. Just kick that. It's done. Shame, because we actually had this under control, so it was a bit unfortunate. He has now got a swollen eye and a minus to perception, which makes it much harder for him to hit in combat, I think. Okay, a lot of stuff here. Fine rope and a wand.
I'd gladly shoulder the load, but the pack won't hold anymore.
The grimoire. We'll look into that next time because we have passed the 1 hour mark now. So we will dive into that later. This book of Valiant love sonnets has a dedication on the first page. To my beloved Kenra. Yeah, what happened here? It was like he was obsessed by something. What does the journal say about this quest? Uncover what happened at Purnisc's house in Copper Lane. The house next to the Copper Lane market has become a Swifton. Purnisc was home, but something about the man seemed unusual. You don't say so. The man downstairs who claimed to be Purnisc attacked me once I started asking questions. I gave Purnisc the ring as requested, yet he didn't seem to recognize it. I could go back to Kenra now, but there's something peculiar about this situation. I killed the man who was impersonating Purnisc. Perhaps the real one is around here somewhere. Yeah, perhaps upstairs where we were not allowed to go. I think that's what we're gonna do now. And then we will wait for going through the new equipment. More battle? What have we here? One more mercenary? Don't worry that much about that.
Hey.
Shouldn't be an issue.
Following your lead.
Yes?
Ready, Watcher.
Oh, she can just as well use this. Well, she can't now. He did not survive that.
Sure.
That was effective. Perfect. Okay. Any more enemies in this building? Before we head upstairs? I guess this swift they are taking is some kind of drug, obviously. Oh, there's a chest over there. Which,
A simple test.
yeah, I know it's stealing now, but I don't care because this is an enemy. There was a wand in here, but nothing specifically interesting. I don't believe this guy we just killed is the actual Purnisc. Someone has peeled the label from these bottles. They're stuffed with a dark concrete pulp that gives a... Yeah, we'll sell that one. The pots are crusted shut with some unidentifiable gunk. Okay, so I think we will be waiting with the upstairs until next time because we're 1 hour and 13 minutes into this episode. And we also need to go through a lot of equipment. So we will end it here and pick up next time. Where is it? It says when you are leveled up. Don't remember. What level? I'm level 5 now. Experience. Okay, we're close to level 6 here. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here and then we'll pick up with going through the items and going upstairs and see if we can find the Purnisc, the real Purnisc up there, or at least what has happened to him if he's not there. The point. See you in the next one. Bye bye.